Today we're going to be working our body lock pass and our flyover or flip over. I'll have to see which one it is. But we're going to start with the body lock pass. This has been made famous recently by Nicky Rodriguez out of the B team. He's been able to pass some very high level guards, some high level black belts, just by utilizing this body lock pass. So it's a great thing to add into your repertoire, and it's a great way to deal with people who have really dangerous guards. You can lock them down, eliminate their ability to move their hips, eliminate their ability to transition into submissions, and start to work past the guard into an offensive pinning position where you can then transition into submissions. Owen, can I borrow you? So we're going to start. Owen's going to have, he's going to be playing seated guard here, right? He's like basically seated open guard. I'm coming in on my knees. If I start to reach for Owen, he can take like a Russian. Boom, he can run our Russian 2-on-1 or our clubbing butterfly sweep. If I get in here and clinch, he gets into cocoon. He's got an overhook and an underhook where he can run sweep Jean-Jacques 1 and 2. So basically what I'm trying to do here with his legs, like when his legs are at 90 degrees or almost 90 here, he's strong. He's going to be able to elevate me. What I need to do is find a way to pin his hips to his heels and beat his arms. So I need to beat, he's doing a great job, right? He's got his elbows inside his legs. He's got good distance here. The deal is once I push his heels all the way into his butt, his legs become weak, right? The leg extension machine over at the gym starts at 90 degrees. It doesn't start with your heel to your butt. So when you're here, we're much weaker than we are in his position. So what I'm looking to do is get a clinch, beating his arms, getting to what we call inside position, and then smashing his heels against his butt. And the way I like to do that, I'll usually start to bait by reaching one arm or the other so that he comes up, and that gave me the opportunity to find that inside space, right? If his hands, if he stays in here and I try to come in, then he's got the inside space. He can just, block my biceps. It's not going to be easy. So I generally will do some sort of shenanigans with my hands, right? A lot of times I'll reach there, it is, boom, and I'm coming in. And notice I flattened him out and then immediately slid my hips in, pinning his heels to his butt. I've got a body lock here. It's just a gable grip. My thumbs are included in the lock. And I've moved my lock to one side of his body. And that's the arm that's palm up, right? My lock is on his right side, my left side. That left arm is palm up. My right arm is palm down. That's because this right arm now becomes like a ski or like a track. If he starts to like push back, I can just like slide along that arm. If I'm the other way and he manages to push out, my lock can roll right here and can break things open. So I want to keep it tight like this. So I've flattened him out and I've pinned both heels to his butt. I'm using my head up here nice and high on his shoulders, keeping him pinned. If I come down here, he's going to be able to sit up and start to attack. So I want my head high. And this is uncomfortable. He's got, a log, basically, my arm underneath his low back while I'm pinning him over the top of it. The next thing I need to do is to clear one of his hooks. So he's seated, I'm kneeling. I get him to reach, boom, I close the distance and hop him. Now from here, I'm going to sprawl my leg opposite the direction that I'm going to pass, and I'm going to pass towards the left where my lock is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot my right leg back, sprawling that right hip to the floor with an effort to bring my right leg inside his leg. Here, I've just beat one of his hooks. And a lot of times he might bring that up, onto my back. He may look to go rubber guard, but as long as my head is still pinning his shoulders, it makes that very hard. If I'm down here, he can transition into rubber guard and start to give me problems. So it's important that my head is high up here on his body pinning. And I'm also actively squeezing and gripping, pulling his hips in tight, not giving him the ability to bring his other leg out into full guard. Now from here, there's lots of ways to go about passing his right leg as I move to my left. One of the ways that I like to do, if I can, is to start to swing my right shin across his shin. You're not always going to be able to get that, but if I'm able to block there, that's going to be a good step. Still making an effort to keep my head high. I'm going to start to walk towards that side, looking to bring my knee up and over. And this is really the battle, right? My ability to fight and walk my knee over the top. Once I'm to the outside, I can basically just sprawl here and switch my hips to pass. Right, let's give one so we're here, reach, boom, body lock, snap. What's next here? Sprawl, beat one hook. What's next? Trap the ankle. And that's not always going to be accessible. And one thing I can do to make it accessible is this little adjustment where I'm bringing my elbow up onto his thigh to try and get that connection. But that's not necessary to make the pass happen. But I'm here. I start to move in that direction. I may move my right knee to the center of his body, and I start to step up, trying to beat his knee. My left elbow is active in beating his right knee. If he's trying to pull that right leg out, I've got to be using that elbow to smash it. Once my knee's over the top, I can pin, I can sprawl, and I can pass. And really, there's a whole lot of nuance after I get that first leg beat. Once I get to the body lock, once I sprawl and beat one of his legs, I've got to get around that other hook. I'm going to be using my elbow to manipulate his thigh. I'm going to use my foot to windshield wiper and staple his foot if I can. I'm going to be stepping high here to come over the top and beat that, but understand that it's a battle. And one of the things that helps the battle is a nice strong body lock, making him uncomfortable, right? Keeping my head high, keeping him pinned over this arm that's under his low back, making him uncomfortable. Gripping and squeezing. Nicky Rod is notoriously strong for his division. So having some strength here, some isometric strength in that squeeze is important. But what's more important is keeping everything tight. As soon as his heels start to get away from his hips, he's going to have legs that are strong and are able to elevate me. I want to make sure that I'm actively squeezing in, clamping my elbows, that I've beat that one leg, that my head is high, applying pressure. My knee moves to the middle. If I can't windshield wiper, knee in the middle. Here, actively using my left elbow to battle that leg. Once I'm over the top, boom, I can shoot this straight back and cut through. There's a couple different passing options that we'll sort of talk about as it evolves. But number one, what do I have to do first? Inside space. Yeah. Owen was doing a great job. It's like if he sits, like if I just sit here, there's no body lock pass because he's got to get in here, right? But as soon as Owen starts to reach for my head, that's going to open up that opportunity. He goes up, my hand goes up, and he's quick. Boom, inside. Now he beat the inside space. He's got a trapped arm now, which that's a bonus. Usually that's not going to happen, right? He wants to keep pressure with his head to flatten me out on my chest. He's going to sprawl one leg opposite the way that he's passing. Boom. He managed to staple it, right? Do you see how he got both his legs in front of mine? Now I'm going to have a real hard time. He's starting to pass. He beats the knee, and he's basically over. He chose to back step in the twister side. But the biggest thing is that I need a distraction to get his hands to come up, and then I'm closing the distance, making my grip, sliding in, pressure with my head. Sprawl the foot, start to work my way around, and pass. Never letting go of that body lock or that inside space once we have it. Questions on what we're doing? Let's give it a shot. 1, 2.